coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Hey man, shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. 33, man. 33 years of prison stories. We back at it again. We rolling. We trying to get back up in this algorithm, man. We trying to get back on this positive train. We trying to keep this train rolling. We trying to feed the positive, starve the negative, man. So let's go, TBP Nation. Stand up. I definitely appreciate the love. Appreciate y'all supporting me. Let's go. Let's get them. It's a lot of things, man, that we ain't even talked about yet. With what's going on out here in these streets today, man, we need to, put this message out there to try to save these youngins, to let them know what type of life they in for, man. And it's not a beautiful life. It's not a good life. It's not a safe life. So with that being said, man, today I was deciding whether to speak on this topic or not, but I think it's necessary. So I wanted to speak on it. Like when dudes is going to prison, man, one of the main things that they are afraid of is possibly being violated and or possibly, being hurt, losing their life, getting injured real bad, this, that, or the third. But the truth being told, man, that's a real fear. That's a real fear when you go into prison. That's a real threat. And I can remember when I was going in, especially like, you heard all these stories and all these, crazy stuff in the jail. When you in the jail and you get ready to go do time, you get ready to go do a bit. It'll be in your psyche, it'll be in your mind. A lot of dudes, you'll see them in the jail, they be, working out hard, trying to, get their self in shape physically, trying to get their mind right. And for the most part, everybody, if you ain't never been to prison before and you in that jail and you getting ready to face some time, you got a lot of fear going on. Some people terrified. Some people is terrified. You automatically gonna be second guessing all your choices in life that you made that got you to this point, which is normal. But man, I remember all of the stuff I used to hear and the names I used to hear of who was in there and what was going on. And then when you got to like receiving and stuff, that's when you start hearing all the other stuff, like especially from the dudes who was coming back. You have dudes coming back, they ain't receiving, but they done been to prison before, they done violated or did whatever, or went out on the street and caught another case, and now they going back. So they been in the prison, so they'll feed you all of this fear and stuff about what's going on in there, what you waiting for, or what you in for. Oh yeah, you don't know, yeah, you go ahead, you act tough in here, but this what's coming to you. And they'll give you all of that. And I used to see a lot of fear in other people. And, I was afraid, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't never been in this type of environment before. But I think I masked my fear more than others. Some people I could look at and see that they were scared. And I used to wonder, could people look at me and see that I was, you know what I'm saying, had some type of fear in me about what was to come. But the fear in me was different because I already knew in my mind, push came to shove, whatever fear that I had at the time, I would conquer, because I'm willing to, to do whatever it takes to make sure don't nothing happen to me. But man, when you leave there and you go in that wall and you start hearing these statements, this was a big statement back in the day. And this statement, I think, just spooked and shocked a lot of people. And it used to be the saying that say, these bandits and stuff that was in there, they used to say, either there will be blood on my knife, or I'm gonna use the other phrase, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's blood on my knife or either poop on my penis, right? So that was a crazy, crazy statement, you know. And the psychology behind that was either you gonna give it up or I'm gonna stab you, right? So when you thinking about young guys coming into prison and ain't never been in this type of environment, ain't never been in this type of position, just imagine that concept. You understand? And that was big. It was being said all the time, and it was being said a lot of times in earshot of young dudes just to put that psyche in their head, So dudes were scared to death, you know. Now, when you ask yourself, you'll say to yourself, them type of choices, these are the choices that you have. They literally saying either blood on my knife or poop on my penis. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying either you gonna let me do what you want me to, what I want to do to you, or either it's gonna be some blood on my knife because I'm gonna stab you, right? So now you take that concept or that saying and ask a young person coming into prison, what are you gonna do? You see what I'm saying? That's a hard situation because you may have dudes that's in there for drugs, you may have dudes that's in there for stealing, you may have dudes that's in there for even killing, but they have done it with a pistol. There's some people that's in there for killing was with somebody that killed somebody, so they got the same charge. But they've never been in a physical confrontation whereas to you fighting for your life and you fighting up under a knife, So surprisingly as it is to me, some dudes would choose the latter. They would choose to let somebody violate them instead of them getting, physically injured with the knife or something, or possibly losing their life. And I know that may sound crazy, but you gotta ask yourself, have you ever been in that situation? What would you do in that situation? And a lot of times when you just ask people when it's not even a possibility, it's not even a reality to them, the first thing a guy is gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna fight." A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't. And yeah, it's just the choice that they make. It's the choice that they make. And a lot of dudes will rationalize and say, "Oh, I want to go home one day. I don't want to, what if he kill me or woo woo or when I get out of prison, I can put this behind me. I ain't got to worry about it, but I gotta make it home." And then you got dudes that take the other philosophy as I would take. I don't want to go home if I ain't no man. I don't want to go home if I gotta go home. Unlike I came in, and once your manhood is taken, it's taken. So to me, and my philosophy is, if you take my manhood, you might well take my life. You see what I'm saying? Because to me, they coincide together. But everybody don't feel that way, And I've been around people like that. I told y'all one time about this dude that moved in the cell with me. He had went to school at University of California. He had went to school with Jason Kidd. This is before I knew who Jason Kidd was. And he had came down, like I said, and messing with a girl at University of Virginia. And he messed around, got caught up with some drugs, and they locked him up. He didn't even tell he was a rich white kid. He didn't even tell his parents that he was locked up because he only had a couple of years, 2 or 3 or whatever it was. But he didn't even tell his parents. So his parents were still paying his tuition, and they don't even know that he's in Virginia in a prison, right? So he was a nerdy white dude, tall, slim, nerdy white dude, come from a affluent family. But he just ended up in there, and he ended up in the cell with me. And he was terrified. He was terrified, and dudes was looking at him kind of funny or whatever because, like I say, he was nerdy and he was white. So they thought that a lot of dudes in there, their mind is linked in with, they might look at that as being feminine, but he wasn't. He wasn't into that. But that's how they see him, you know. So I mentioned this in that video. I think it's a Greensville video or something, but I can remember, dudes inquiring about him. Was he gay? Was he this? And he was my celly. So I'm like, man, no, don't even look at that dude like that. Woo, woo, woo. But I knew when they asked me, they were really inquiring because they wanted to see what type of stance I was going to take if they tried to do something to my celly, right? So I remember asking my celly, just testing his fortitude and asking him what would he do, what I'm saying, if somebody tried to do something like that to him. And he just his whole face, man, it was like, huh? Like it was like crazy to him. And when we broke it down to, I said, well, so if a dude came in here with a knife, if I went in here or whatever, and he told you that you have to do this, or he was going to do this to you, what are you going to do? You going to fight or what? He straight up said that he would not. He would let him do it. And I was kind of shocked at first because I was like, what? You know, and my initial thought was, man, oh, so you into that? You gay or something? He was like, no, but I don't want to die. I don't want to get hurt. And I don't know, maybe because it was my mind frame or my mindset that I'm like, that's insane to me. So you think that's not gonna hurt? You think that's not gonna kill you or kill your spirit, kill your soul, kill your, to take your manhood? You would rather not even fight and see how it turned out, see if you can save yourself, see how far he willing to go. You would just automatically submit. And he was like, I don't want to take that chance. And that just shocked me, man. It shocked me. But as time went on, because this was fairly early, I guess, I think I was on Greensville for the first time. So this early 90s. So it was fairly early. Uh, but as time went on, I seen it more and more often. I seen it more and more often. A lot of dudes was in that position out of fear, not because that's the position that they wanted to be in. And then a lot of dudes that was into that knew that, and they used that fear to put them in that position, the threat of harm, you know, and maybe it was done in silent, or maybe it ain't like what you see in the movies and all this and all that, or dudes just run around, give me on, and just take them. No, they subliminally catch them one on one and talk to them and put that fear in them, and that one on one come and let them know and tell them that they better not tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? So it just was crazy to me at the time, and then I could remember when I had started reading and stuff like that. I had remember reading uh um Richard Pryor biography, right? One of the best biographies, autobiographies I read. But I can remember Richard Pryor was said in there that they had a bully in his neighborhood, and he was way older. Richard Pryor was like 12, 13 or something. The dude was like 21, 22 or something like that. He used to beat people up and rob them and take their stuff, little kids. And he said he remember one time his auntie or somebody sent him to the store to get some bread or juice or whatever. And he was on his way back, and the bully caught him in the alley and tried to rob him. And he ain't had nothing but the little food, the groceries, and he ain't had no money in his pocket. And he said the bully got mad and he started punching on him and told him, I ought to kill you. I ought to beat you to death. You ain't got no money. And then he said, no, but I know what I'm gonna make you do. And he said he told him to get on his knees, and he got on his knees, and he pulled his privates out and told Richard Pryor to service him. And Richard Pryor was like, no, you know what I'm saying? He told him, if you didn't, I'm gonna beat you to death. Right? So Richard Pryor said he did it. He said he did it. And I could remember when I was reading that, I think back to my celly, and I think back to the situations of what was going on around me. And I guess it's that same, mind frame that some dudes got, that is their way of survival. Then at that moment they'll choose to survive, whether than something that they think that they will survive from, whether than something that they think that they may not survive in. When somebody's saying they'll kill you, when somebody's saying their blood on my knife, they know that it's a possibility that they may not survive that. So they choose something that they know might be horrible and horrific to them, but they may survive. And that's what I was, that changed, made my whole, the way I was looking at it. And it was crazy because I, I'm like Richard Pryor, one of the most famous people in the world, but he admitting that he's being in his honesty. But he said, within the book, he said, man, I ain't no fighter. You know what I'm saying? He said, yeah, I'm a coward for real. He said, I can't whoop a whole lot of dudes, but, it's Richard Pryor. He making jokes. He said, but I done whooped a whole lot of women. You know what I'm saying? But he wouldn't fight a man like that, and he wouldn't risk his life like that, and he would do something like that in order not to be hurt. It's the mind frame, man. And, yeah, it's crazy, but these are things that you will be faced with in prison. If you know, and these are things that you literally see people when we first get locked up, and they walking around in fear. You can see it on them. They don't be approached like that, or they don't be approached where somebody trying to extort them. They don't be approached where somebody trying to do something like that to them. You can see it on them, and I think the dudes that's predatory in there, they can see it, and that's why they draw to them. So you have to have an aura like, bro, I'm willing to die for mine in any capacity, no matter what. You ain't taking nothing from me. You ain't doing nothing to me, and you got to mean it, and it's gonna be in your demeanor. Yeah, and if it's not, they can seek it out, they can smell it, they can see it, they can sense it, and that's what draws them to you. You know, and even further down the line, years and decades and later, remember, like I said, when I was on Nottoway, and I ended up in the cell with the dude, you know, and they was trying to get at him, and they put me in the cell with him. He was so glad that I was in the cell with him. He was the one that ended up doing the tattoo on my back. Cause he was so glad that I was in the cell with him, because dudes was at him. And I remember asking him, and he won't no little dude. He was a white dude, but he wasn't a little dude. He was stalking everything, but he was young and he was scared, and he had no fight in him. And he said that if and I asked him the same thing, because that was still in my mind from years ago, and what I had seen over the years and what I read with Richard. And I said, man, well, what if you would have been in that position? What you would have did? And he said the same thing. He said the same thing. He said, I would have did it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I don't. But he didn't want to be stabbed even more. So these are prison choices, more than likely choices you only have to make in prison. You know, and these are hard choices, man. And a lot of dudes, you know, make that choice instead of facing that physical knife, man. You know, that Bethlehem. They make that choice. You know, and it's crazy. And of course, the choice is under duress. The choice is under pressure. But they in that position, and at that moment, that's what they got to do. You know, and that's what they choose to do. And like I say, I know dudes that's gonna choose the opposite. You're gonna have to kill them. You're gonna have to prove that you will push that knife. You know, and if you a real dude and you gonna stand on that, as soon as the proposition is made to you, those questions don't even come out, because you start swinging. You start swinging off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only answer to that type of pressure. That's it. Anything outside of that, they're gonna automatically know that you even considering, you even thinking about it, you even contemplate. So you have to just take off, and whatever happens, even if he got the knife in his hand. This is just what you're gonna have to do. Is what you're gonna have to do, man. You know, so yeah, man. But I just never I never forgot that, man. When the first dude that said that to me, man, I just never forgot it, man. Because like I say, that fear is real. You know what I'm saying? That in prison, the chances that you may be approached like that is real. You know, and you're gonna have to make a decision. You know, and a lot of dudes, like I say, they choose that decision because of what the alternative is. So yeah, man, but that's just a part of prison life, man. That's a part of prison life, and people don't realize that. And these young dudes that's out here right now on the street, and they doing this, that, and the third, and they thinking they gangsters out here with these guns and these switches and these gangs. It's gonna be a different life in that prison, bro. And you gonna be caught in one-on-one situations where you gonna have to be able to take care of you. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's real. That's as real as it get. And yeah, man. So I don't know. I guess that with things that have happened recently, just make me think about these type of things and these situations. So I want to put this out there so these dudes can understand what's really going on in prison, man. What is really going on in prison? Not no TV stuff and movie stuff. It's real life, man. You know what I'm saying? And people is going through it in there. You know, and they have to get through it to get back out here. You know, and how they choose to do it, that's on them, you know. But anyway, man, I just wanted to drop that on y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Talk to me, I talk back. And I know I would say, ask yourself, what would you do? But it's hard to ask you what would you do, because I know what your normal response is going to be. I'm going to fight. But that's because you're not in that position, and that real physical presence of pressure is not actually on you. It's just a hypothetical question. But try to put yourself in that position. Life or death or this, you know. Let me know what y'all think, man. Talk to me in the comments. TBP Nation, stand up. Big love, salute. We out here. We pushing P all day, every day, 24/7. Y'all stay tuned. We got membership videos coming. We're going to be pushing more videos over there on Pure Deliciousness. We got collaborations with APS. Shout out to Big Joe. We got interviews coming. I'm trying to put this message out there everywhere, anywhere, anytime, all the time. Y'all stand behind me. TBP, salute, stand up. We out here. Be safe, be smart, make good decisions, man. And by all means, man. Hey. Duck them hooks and duck the penitentiary. There's a life in there waiting for you that you don't want no parts of. Salute.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.